Hi everybody, I'm Stefan. Welcome back to another lesson in my level 4 lesson book within the beginner piano course for solo learners. In this video, we're going to learn a beautiful piece called Prelude in B minor by Angeline. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so, and if you like what you see, give this video a thumbs up. Also, I offer online piano lessons if you're looking for one. There's going to be information below. And if you'd like to get the level 4 lesson book and join the entire free course and access all the videos, links will be below too. This piece was written specifically for the level 4 lesson book by Angeline. We are very grateful to her for providing us with beautiful pieces. And the idea behind was to cover two subjects within the book, two concepts. One of them was the new key of B minor, which is introduced a couple of pages before. And the second goal was to give you a little bit of challenge when it comes to voicing separate melodies, voicing an upper melody against accompaniment and really bringing out the melody. And also I feel like this piece really allows for a little bit of freedom when it comes to tempo and expression, as it's very introverted and there are probably a lot of different ways to interpret it, and I'm sure all of you who are going to play this piece are going to find one way that makes your ideas into beautiful music. So let's have a look. Without going into too much detail, I'm going to play through the right hand, left hand, and then talk a little bit about the challenges. The first page is quite different to the second page, because in the first page, the left hand is merely supporting the right hand with chords, just blocked chords, which need to be accurate but very gentle, sinking into the keys. And the right hand is playing the melody mostly in two parts. We have an upper voice where the stems go up, and we have a bottom voice where the stems go down. And you really want to differentiate between the two and emphasize the one on the top. The biggest challenge in this piece, apart from the voicing, I think, is the fingering. I did give some suggestions in the book, but by all means feel free to experiment with fingering and go with the one that feels most comfortable to your hands. We are in the key of B minor, as I said, so two sharps, F sharp and C sharp, and it obviously always helps to play a B minor scale and arpeggio beforehand to tune into the key. The time signature is cut time, which means it needs to flow with a more steady pace, and you need to think of it in two beats. So the left hand is basically showing you where the beat is. Dum bum ba dum bum bum ba dum bum bum ba dum. So not accenting the second and the fourth beats, only the first one and the third one, because it needs to feel like it's in two. So let's go with the left hand. The first chord we have is a B minor chord, but it's in an inversion, so F sharp, B, D. And we're going to pedal every two beats in this piece. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have an E minor in first inversion, G, B, E. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then a diminished chord, G, B flat, C sharp. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and back to B minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the end of the first 8 bars. So really just sustaining those chords gently but accurately, the 3 notes going down together. The right hand is almost in 1 bar phrases. So we start 5 on the F sharp, and I'm going to emphasize this F sharp by lingering on it slightly longer and sinking into the key a bit more deeply. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and G, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and as you can see, I'm always holding those half notes minims, whether it's at the top, whether it's at the bottom. The only time I'm going to release them if it's physically impossible for me to hold them because the stretch is too big. Going on bar 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now 5 on the E, 1 and A sharp, 2 and 3 and quite a big stretch here. And now we're going to emphasize the top quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did you notice how my thumb stayed very quiet here? So emphasizing the top melody once again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and back to 5 on the D. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's put it together. So exact same thing, but the left hand is going to hold those chords for us. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and counting with the eighth notes. Now the diminished chord. And emphasizing the top. And back to B minor. I'm going on to the next section, which is 8 bars again. Here we have some scale-like motion in the right hand. Let's start with the left. We have chords here with 4 notes. So they're going to be a little bit stretchier, and if you have smaller hands, it might be quite tricky. But even if you have bigger hands, you need to practice these chords because 4 notes are always going to be harder to play accurately than 3. So the first one is an E minus 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an A7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have a D major 7, D, F sharp, A, C sharp. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then an E minus 7 again, but with the D in the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have a diminished chord again on C sharp. And then F sharp major, C sharp, F sharp, A sharp. That takes us back, the dominant, to B minor. But this time it's going to be an open chord, which means that the third is missing. So B, F sharp, B. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right hand, 5 on the D. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now crescendo. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a very long phrase here, as you can see, and it's going up and down, and that's one of those sections where I think fingering is quite tricky to not get confused and to stick to something that really works for you. Going on, we've got these double notes, these repeated notes where we need to always adjust the hand and change finger on the same note. So 2, 5, 1, 4, 1, 5. So we have F sharp, B, and then B, E, E, B, B, E. And every time we repeat that note, we're going to change from 5 to 1 or 4 to 1. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and B. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that was the right hand. So being very careful with this pattern, it's going to come back on the second page as well. Let's go hands together. So E minus 7, D, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and A7, wash crescendo. And now I would slow down here a little bit in anticipation of the B minor chord and And there's the end of the first page. On the second page, the pattern in bar 17 changes completely because they are going to play a homophonic pattern, meaning that the left and right hand are playing the same rhythms and the same rough melody shape. Now, what's very interesting here is we have these whole notes or semi-breves, which are the melody note, which seems very odd because it's not a melody, it's a sustained note. But we need to emphasize those whole notes and play the eighth notes quavers very softly in between. It's called an inner voice. So the left hand is going to start on the F sharp and then 3 on the B, and we're going to hold on to these whole notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now G, and it's quite awkward here, A and C sharp. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and F sharp. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I said this many times before, when you need to hold a note for so long, be careful not to push it actively. The tension usually arises when you push into a note. You rest your finger on it, not pushing it. So let's go right hand 5 on the B. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, keeping the inner voice very quiet. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and A, very legato. And now holding on to the E and A, C sharp. Hands together, 5 and 5, and then we're going to start with B and D, so a third apart. 2 and 3 and 4 and gently in the middle. Now a bit quieter. And we are getting to the final section, which is from bar 25, where we have again this beautiful double note ascending arpeggio pattern. The left hand is going to start in this E minor position, and we're going to hold onto the E. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then an A major inverted. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and which is the dominant of D major, so going back to D major. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then a beautiful chord B flat E G, just resting on it for 2 bars, and then A major 7, and that takes us back to our D major again, dominant going to tonic, holding onto the D, slowing down. And interestingly, the piece finishes on D major, and we started in B minor, so we finish in the relative major. Right hand starting 2 on the B, bar 25. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now this is where I was talking about you physically can't hold this F sharp because you can't reach down to the C sharp. So in your mind, you're thinking about sustaining that F sharp. You're still going to emphasize it, but then jump down to the C sharp. And very important when you do these 2-note slurs to nicely separate them. And going on from bar 29, we have an octave higher sign. Be very careful. So starting here on the D, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, jumping down an octave, 3, 4 and F sharp. hands together. E minor, B, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and A major. Quiet inner voice. Now an octave higher. Resting on the D, waiting for it. And then the A7. Down to the C sharp and D major. And that's the end. It's a beautiful piece with so much room for expression and bringing in your own taste and your own ideas, and make sure you really pay attention to the fingering, as that can be a very tricky issue in this piece.